Hi, and a very good evening to one and all. This is Marisha from the wedding school, and it is my favorite day, Friday evening. A warm welcome to all of you who are trickling in now. I am hoping that you had a good week. I am hoping that you've spent your week productively because that is of great importance to somebody like me who's totally obsessed with wanting to make the most of every single moment that you have in your life. Um, I think for me, at least, it's been a very productive week, and for my entire team, we've really had some very interesting moments that we have shared together, and it's been a week that has helped me learn a lot, and I think that gives me immense satisfaction as a person, as a important player in the industry that I belong to. Because if you're not learning, you're not going to be able to teach as much to people around you. If you're not learning, you're not going to be the interesting person that one inspires to be. So I think a great conversation can only be struck if you are a well-read person, if you know a lot of things, and it's really important to keep growing in life. So some of us have a natural instinct towards doing that, and some of us need to make a conscious effort. I think in both cases, we can be achievers. You just need to be able to identify right at the start what kind of personality you are. If you're the one who's naturally inclined towards learning, for whom learning is just a way of life, and there's no other way, kudos, you're in a good space. For you, the challenge is then to make sure that you're actually applying what you're learning and you're actually putting to good use whatever you're learning. For those of us who are not exactly inclined there, we are happier just taking it easy and not getting too bogged down with that pressure. It's good, but today's time and age does not really support us if that's the way we are. We can be termed complacent. We can be in a space where we are easily replaceable, and I don't think any of us want to be in that space. So I make sure that I'm making the most of my time through the week, and sometimes even weekends. But no regrets. I think that's the way you are. You just can't do much. A big hello to everyone who's joining us over here on Insta and on Facebook. I won't be able to read out everyone's names, but waving back to everyone who's waved at me. And, I'm glad that you all are here. I'm very excited, and I'm truly a little nervous, but I'm truly confident of where we are headed with the wedding school. The last 2 weeks have been about wanting to understand how do we really put this all together. And I think the last 5-6 days has changed a lot within me. I'm in a slightly calmer, peaceful state of mind. I'm getting to interact with a lot of young minds. I'm making the most of it because they really become the perfect sort of book to read if you want to really know what future has in store for you. It's the young minds, truly, that help you understand where we are headed. I don't think that words of wisdom about future can only come from experts, because when you are an expert, you are also somehow subjected to your experiences of past. But a young mind is the one with a clear slate, and he and she has a far more open mind towards what are the possibilities. Something that somebody who's lived too many years in a certain industry will not be able to kind of put together, not just about any industry, but it's also about you as a person and a personality, because there's so much you've seen, there's so much that you've already formed opinions about, that you are going to end up having that reflect in whatever you do in coming times. But a young mind, oh my God, it's a sea of possibilities. It's, oh, I can do this kind of an attitude, or I'm not scared of this, or so what, let's give it a shot. If not, I can always go back to something. So these kind of things, when they pour in, I realize that it's so important for us, and that's exactly how a child is, open to all kinds of possibilities, and just not judgmental about situations. So it's been a very, very cool week of interacting. In fact, in my interaction with all these young minds, I did ponder upon some interesting insights, and that's why I chose the topic which I've chosen for our TWS Friday live session, which is about how do you decide if you have the aptitude to become a wedding planner. Now, when I am saying wedding planner, don't please assume that I am saying that at the age of 18 and 20, you can wake up one morning and put the notes that I'm going to now be sharing with you, put it to action, and realize, oh, wow, I've got a tick mark on my checkbox here. That means I'm truly born to be a wedding planner. That's not the idea. The idea is to understand if your excitement is really going to be able to be put to good use and transform into a career or a business, if that's what you're really perceiving and pursuing to do. As we walk in and join me on Friday evening, I want to say a big thank you to all you lovely people who are joining us here. Feel free to put in your questions. The last Friday session was absolutely amazing. We did manage to, I think, answer most of the queries that came in terms of the doubts, the dilemma that you have about the industry, about yourself becoming a part of the industry. And I think it was a great session. I enjoyed it personally. And I'm hoping for the same to come out of this one too. And it should definitely be worth your time because everyone has multiple options these days. So I totally value this. So when we talk about aptitude towards becoming a wedding planner, you need to understand that the aptitude, the study, the understanding, the pros and cons that you weigh will be very different if you're in the age bracket of, say, 18 to 22 versus if you're in the age bracket of, say, 24 to 30, because a lot of things change. When you're in the age bracket of 18 to 22, your house responsibilities are not much in terms of finances. Your parents have given you the time to enjoy your life, and dekh lo, career ban gaya to ban gaya types. They are not taking you very seriously, but you are just clouded with aspirations in your mind, and you know what you want to do with your life, but there's nobody out there taking you very seriously. When you're in the age bracket of 24 to 30 is when your ambition grows, but at the same time, you're also had enough of years of experience for you to understand what is the pros and cons of you as a person, as a player. You understand your shortfalls. You are far more aware about yourself as a person, personality. And that is the time, like I mentioned at the start of my chat, that you start forming opinions and you start deriving and concluding. That's just the first phase of that being the case. And therefore, you will have different kinds of considerations. You will have a different space that you are going to evaluate yourself in. It's also a great time for you to actually understand whether or not you should take the plunge of becoming a full-fledged planner who is actually running his or her own business. So aptitude is a very, very tricky term, especially when it comes to the lines of events and entertainment, because it's very difficult to judge. We unfortunately are not of the privileged class where we are able to take a test and derive our aptitude towards events and entertainment. I have tried out a lot of these. It's good to begin with, but really not a place where you can conclude on something. So I'm going to help you do it right now through this session today. So if you're in the age bracket of 18 to 22, where you are studying or in your final year, or just about stepped out but have not engaged yourself professionally in doing something full-time, then your parameters of deciding whether or not you are meant to become a part of the wedding industry, eventually become a wedding planner, because that's what most of us aspire to do. And if that's not your aspiration, there's nothing wrong. So please don't feel apologetic, or don't switch off if that's the case. You know, there are some of us who are much stronger and better performers as team players, and no company can reach where it does if it doesn't have a good set of team players. So you're equally important, because that's the way wedding companies are designed to work, you know, effective players. The aptitude works very simple. It's got to be your early instinct and inclination towards actually organizing things. And you need not be a very organized person, but you like to organize things for people. For instance, a surprise party, a college event. If you are, no matter where you are and what you're doing, if that is the urge of you to really take time out to get involved in those kind of things, those are the early signs that you are indeed inclined towards a profession which is going to consume you in the live space. When you start enjoying the nervousness, and you start feeling like your heartbeat is just going to like turn you deaf, you know, but you enjoy it. It does not give you stress. It creates an anxiety level. That is a sign that it's worth for you to consider exploring this space. It sounds small, you know, and negligible for a few, but for those of us who've been in the industry for long, and I've been here for 2 decades, I can tell you that that is a very important sign that you need to listen to. It's a message that your mind is conveying to you, that if you're going to enjoy that kind of anxiety, you're getting thrill out of it, then that is something that you must take seriously. And let me tell you, when you are 24 to 30, that same excitement can give you shudders. That same excitement, which sounds so cool and happening, can suddenly be like, oh my God, I can't do this for the next 30 years. So that is why I'm saying the aptitude to become a part of the wedding industry versus aptitude to starting your own company, that really is 2 very, very different things. So, you know, that being one case where you are the one who loves organizing surprises and you know, internal friend parties and college events, you like to be a part of it, you like to take leadership, or you are the one who likes to ideate. Even if you're the one who likes to ideate but is not able to articulate, you are still having the potential to explore a career in this line, because it's not necessary that all of us talk really well. Imagine if everyone starts talking, like, who's going to listen? So you need to have a good mind. You need to be creatively inclined towards it. If you're the one who is always given that responsibility back home when it comes to, you know, family functions and designing a sangeet for your cousin, sister, or your sibling, or your neighbor tells you that, okay, I want to put this together, I want to give this kind of a gift, do you have an idea of what I should do, can you share some ideas on invitations, or you're just inclined towards helping out people in non-commercial terms, that is a very, very important sign that you must take seriously, because that is, again, a natural inclination, which, if put to good productive use when you join this industry professionally, because that cannot be inculcated, no matter how much we may train you, even at the wedding school. I cannot push you to feel for a family member. That needs to come from within. So if you feel for your random cousin who's not exactly close to you, but you like the excitement of planning something for him or her, even if you may not love him so much, you need to take that seriously. The other thing is, when you look at Instagram or Pinterest and you are naturally following a lot of decor houses, wedding planners, photo video company profiles, you know, choreographers, that is, again, a sign that you are liking what these pictures talk. Now, I'm not trying to say that if you like it, that means you become a part of it. That means it is a feeling that you must try and dwell into. You must try and see, like, hey, is this a career opportunity? If I'm liking watching it so much, Is this something that I can actually end up doing for the rest of my life? Is this something that I can actually create instead of just sitting in front of my phone or sitting at home and watching? Can I be the one who's creating all of this? So that's the time you start exploring the idea of becoming a part of that larger picture, the behind the scene, as they call it. These are the signs, and that is how you realize that this is what I'm kind of inclined towards. You realize your true aptitude and your essence when you actually are able to judge yourself for the kind of commitment levels that you give as a person. Again, this is not something that you can learn at a school. It is you as a person, how committed you are towards anything that you take up. How much of an in between, I'm going to leave it kind of a person are you. When you start off something with a lot of excitement, and the minute you realize, oh my God, I have to do this every single day. No, maybe not. I want to switch. You know, if you are that kind of a person who's recklessly moving from one hobby to the other, or from one series to the other, then you got to reconsider, because you will need to give in a lot of time, many years into this industry to learn different aspects before you can actually get up there and start directing a show, you know. So it's going to be a lot of wait and learn to execute, learn to understand the technicalities before you get to hold that mic and start dictating to people that this is what needs to be done. It's not a very long journey if you're fast, if you're pacey, if you're creative, if you are very, very committed and not just showing commitment to your boss, but genuinely being that kind of person. Because this industry truly belongs to the young minds. The age factor is very, very critical, because the younger you are, the faster you are in your mind, the faster you are on your feet, and that becomes a big bonus, a big win-win. And by 24, you will totally realize whether you can do this for the next 30 years, or do you want to then switch into something, which is not a big deal. Thankfully, in today's life, you can make that switch. So it's the perfect time for you to go and explore this industry. Largely, of course, I'm talking about weddings here. And that is exactly what really helps you. So you got to have pace, you got to have creativity, you've got to be totally committed to something for a long span of time. You cannot be moving from here to there. So these are really the signs that you must be wanting to take up seriously, if at all you're still in that dilemma phase. Then it, of course, comes to the next phase of your life, which is when you decide that I want to make a switch and I want to start a company of my own. I've worked for enough number of years, and now is the time when I just want to be my own boss. It's really funny, but I think it was just last night that, you know, my husband cooked a great meal, and I said, you know what, let's just take retirement and let's go to our hometown and open a restaurant. And my father-in-law started laughing, and he was like, you know, seriously, you'll be able to leave weddings? So I was like, yeah, why not? Maybe if I open my own restaurant, I'll be my own boss. And he laughed more. And he says, you're running your own company, so why are you saying this? You are your own boss. I said, well, not exactly. If I have to seriously introspect in the wedding space, wedding planning company owner, the founder, is not entirely his own boss ever, because it's service industry. And that is a big challenge. I will never call it a downer. I always knew what I was getting into. But you will never get a sense of ownership, because you're always servicing a client who is technically your boss. You are just the boss of the people whom you hire, you know. So it's a very nice, cool space to be in, to have the independence, to own a space, to be able to have yourself lead your vision, to have a team support to take that vision forward. But when is it the right time? And do you have the aptitude to do it really? So I'm going to talk about it, but I'm just going to take a little few seconds because there are a couple of us who have been saying a hello, and I really want to acknowledge you all. So, you know, again, thanks everyone. I'm not going to be able to take everyone's names, but thank you indeed for joining in. I have Aman Jha, who's asking me, ma'am, in the wedding industry, what's the highest paid post or position? Aman, it's a valid question. I will say there is no set rule. Our industry really is in a space where every company has his or her own way and their own forte, which defines who gets paid the premium in their company. Some planners are totally focused towards operational aspect, and they want to just be very focused on getting the planning and the operation bit, you know, to the perfection level that one would envy. There are some who are very, very inclined that I'm a planner, but I'm the one who can get you the best deals. So his forte really is on negotiations. Negotiations, and when I'm saying this, it means to the extent of annoying the vendors, but he will just have it his way. And then you have the third aspect of companies whose forte is their thinking, their unique styling, their unique ideation and concept building. So every planner has his or her own acumen and forte, which defines, you know, largely who in that company gets paid how much, because that's automatically the focus and the inclination that the company has. So it's very difficult to really pinpoint and generalize this. I don't think that would be the right thing to do, but it depends on the kind of company that you are working for. If I had to go a step further, I mean, I will be able to tell you that in times to come, and as a trend, as what we are seeing of the last few years, which seems to be growing now, is the fact that the more creatively inclined you are and the more effective player you are in terms of putting your thoughts to a level of it becoming a doable idea, that is a very huge space for which I see a huge demand of talent that can actually contribute towards that aspect. Creative thinking, adding to the experiential value of a wedding, because a lot of the other things are things that a client is actively involved in. But when it comes to ideation is when they get blocked, and that's where I have seen them kind of rely on professional agencies to be able to do it. So if you end up actually having a business of your own where you're just the ideating partner, you can actually make a good living out of it, whether as an employee or by running your own company. So that's really where I see a lot of the money flowing in times to come. Varma Shriya is writing, this is what has motivated me, exactly what you just said. I'm assuming that has to do with the whole excitement level that we love when it comes to doing a college activity or planning a surprise or something like that. Raj Tent House is saying, from where to start if I want to be an entrepreneur in low scale? I think I want to take this question right away, because that's exactly the point that I was going to discuss with you, which is finding out what's the aptitude that you know you are kind of soaking in, what's the level you are in, and do you really have the aptitude to start your own and become an entrepreneur? So this part gets defined with two aspects. One is your overall experience, not just exposure. Please understand the difference. The experience that you have of actively working as a planner versus you being a person who has the exposure to what a wedding planner does. So, for example, from your name, I'm going to assume, Raj Tent House, that you all are largely a tent house and you are sort of your expertise lies in the decor business. So if you are somebody who is now going to diversify and become a planner, then kudos to you, because you already understand a large aspect of what a wedding that needs to be designed and executed is all about, right? So you understand the pre-planning, you understand the client's psyche, you also understand timelines that need to be followed when you are at a venue. What you may not understand is the longer journey that a planner actually experiences with a client and a family, unlike what a catering house or a decor house are exposed to, which is a couple of weeks, or a couple of meetings over a couple of months. Whereas for us, it's a full-time, talk to the client everyday experience, and that is obviously very different, So we hardly get a chance to do time, which is that if I have one of my team members who is focused on one client, I will avoid giving him another client. Because I want him to be loyal and committed in that relationship. So, you need to understand that it's experience versus exposure. These are the two kinds of people who venture into starting their own wedding company. Now, if you're the one who has the experience of working with a wedding company and now you think it's the right time, you're thinking it's the right time is one aspect. Are you cut out for it is the other, which is the aptitude. Your temperament decides that. The stress level you can take of having to feed that many more families now, you're not just earning for yourself, you are actually earning for your team as well. For you to be able to sustain and survive off-season, 6 months as a planner, very, very critical aspect. For you to also be able to understand, are you the one who can lead? Or have you been the person who is good at being led and then you are okay taking charge of something? That becomes a very, very important aspect before you decide to start your own. Because a lot of times we have players who feel like, okay, I spent 5-6 years, I've worked with a company, I know what it's like, and I know the start to end process. But when you're running your own firm, you're as much accountable to each of the clients as you are to the family, which you were doing as client servicing. But now you also have finances, you have HR issues, something as basic as, is there enough snacks and tea, coffee stacked up can also come to you on a bad day in office. Besides that, the marketing, the networking with vendors. So it is multitasking to another level. And at the same time, you have to have a vision of what you want to do next. And at the same time, you should be able to come up with a good idea in a meeting when the client will just throw a random thing to you and say, हम लोग ये सोच रहे हैं, आपका क्या कहना है? तो आपको genuinely कुछ अच्छा कहना है. So, are you really cut out to do all of this together? That is what will help you at least start deliberating whether or not you should make that move. Your aptitude of being able to multitask, temperament, and you will still be servicing your clients. It's not like you can say no, is really a very, very important factor. So, and now coming to the other aspect, which is those with exposure, such as the decor houses and people from a gifting background and, families into invite making. And now the child is suddenly like, you know what, I want to be the glamorous wedding planner. I just don't want to make the invite. I want to make the entire wedding come true. Great. You already have it in your genes in terms of being creatively inclined, in terms of understanding timelines, which is so important as a planner. So you have your basics. Now is the time for you to professionally gain some knowledge, professionally train yourself, and therefore become a flourishing wedding planner. I hate people and I detest people. And I'm not saying this because I run a school and I want you to take admission. No, you're most welcome to educate yourself elsewhere, but please educate yourself. I don't like people who take up a wedding solo project because their daddy is connected to someone and that family is ready to take a chance on you, but you don't know how you are going to have your process is set, how you're going to go about the entire journey for the bride and groom. You're just getting it because they want to oblige you. don't pick up that kind of a project. Take formal training. Understand what is the first step to the last step. Understand the professional nuances, and then go ahead and take that first project, even if it's from your parent social circle. The best way to go about it, if you want to become an entrepreneur in low scale events like Raj is asking, Raj 10th house, whoever is writing from that page is asking, it's really simple. You obviously have your network. You have leads because you're a 10th house guy, so you know what is up next for the coming season. You already have your bracket of 5 to 10 strong leads. You know their wedding dates. What you need to do is train yourself professionally, pick up a course which is connected and directly focused on entrepreneurship in wedding planning, and study. Study hard. Don't just do a short-term course with a couple of sessions that will not transform you. Get into in-depth knowledge of technicals, of food, of photo video, of choreography, of every aspect. Then you are kind of preparing yourself, because तो meeting में vendor connect तो करवा लोगे, but I don't think you want to be a planner for that. You want to be a planner because you made a difference, not because you got somebody on board. That's not the kind of planner you want to be. So you have to educate yourself and formally work towards it. I hope that answered it justice. And I want to say hi to a lot of my friends on Facebook while I'm reading the questions from Instagram. I want to say hi to Rashmin for sure. Sonam is also here. Hi, Sonam. Sonam says, I'm your fan. Sonam, you have like millions of fans, okay? So I'm like this humble friend of yours. and I love your simplicity, Sonam. And you are genuinely a darling and so much fun to be with. Rashmin is also here. Rashmin is one of our earliest team members, whom we had picked on a solo project, and then we went on to having her as a part of our team. And then, of course, she moved into the corporate space after doing weddings, I think, for 1.5 years or 2 years. But a very warm person and extremely hardworking. I hope you're doing well, Rashmin. Gitika is also here. Hi, Gitika. Good to see you here. Sujay is here. Mittal is here. Again, these are all people who make our wedding so special. एक प्रोजेक्ट में से 3 दिन देंगे, लेकिन जब देंगे तो अच्छे से committed players की तरह, who will not think of anything else. At least that's how they project themselves to me. Okay. Dream Career is asking, ma'am, me to company बंद करने वाला, मैं तो कंपनी बंद करने वाला था, but wedding ही कम कर दिया. ओके, मैं तो कंपनी बंद करने वाला था, बट वेडिंग रेट कम कर दिया. बुरा वक्त हर एक की जिंदगी में आता है. आई विल नॉट वांट यू टू फील कि अभी समय बहुत मुश्किल चल रहा है तो हमें अपना काम बंद करना चाहिए. ये एटीट्यूड ना रखे तो अच्छा है. इस बुरे वक्त को गुजर जाने दीजिए. इस बुरे वक्त में ज्यादा हलचल ना करें. जितना नया सीखेंगे उतना फायदा होगा. ये मैं खुद के अनुभव से कह रही हूँ. और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप इस समय को इस्तेमाल करें, अपनी टीम के साथ रहे, जितना हो सके टीम को बांध के रखें. मैं जानती हूँ बहुत सारी ऐसी कंपनीज है who had to let go of some amazing talent. ये बुरा वक्त है. I don't judge you for doing that because I run my own company and I can understand the difficulty you are in. Some companies have not taken that step. Some have taken the step. It is a very case-to-case situation. लेकिन जो आपके हाथ में है वो है आपका नजरिया और आपका एक्शन. आपका नजरिया पॉजिटिव रखे, और सिर्फ पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. आपको एक्शन भी करना है, और एक्शन आउट करने के लिए अगर आप रोज कुछ सीखेंगे, अपने जितने भी बचे हुए टीम मेंबर्स हैं उनको कुछ नया सिखाएंगे, या तो उनको कहेंगे कि आप कुछ ऑनलाइन से सीख के आइए, और उस तरीके से एक नए फ्रेश कॉन्सेप्ट और आइडिया के साथ अगर आप काम करेंगे, यू विल एक्चुअली बी एबल टू रियलाइज दैट ये जो खाली समय है ना, उसका आप इतना अच्छा उपयोग कर सकते हैं that you're ready for the next season and not just 2020 but 21, 22, क्योंकि आप आगे का सोच रहे हैं. So आप कंपनी बंद करने का ना सोच के कंपनी को कैसे इस मुश्किल समय में थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट करके, खर्चे कम करके, दिमाग पे ज्यादा रिलाई कीजिए और कॉन्टैक्ट्स पे कम, तब जाके आपकी कंपनी और सस्टेन और सर्वाइव कर पाएगी. I am not, as much as I'm dependent on a good feedback from a client, I'm not dependent on a good connect as a company. I've always believed that your good work will talk for itself. You will not need somebody to keep pushing for you because somebody has already experienced what you bring on board. So us cheez pe dhyan de, and I'm sure that you will really be able to come out richer in times to come. So yeah, dream career. I hope I'm able to inspire you to be able to do that. Okay, Raj House has written, ma'am, I need one advice about an idea, but I can't discuss in public. Please provide me your mail ID. You can DM me, and my team is also live right now with us, so they will get in touch with you, and I'll be happy to help you further. I don't have the exposure nor the experience, but I have the excitement and zeal for weddings, and it's been there for years. Can I not become an entrepreneur? What a wonderful question. I've got this one from Varma Shreya. I will say you can, 120%. I will not recommend it to every person. So that is why I talk about experience and exposure when you want to become a wedding planner as my top 2 priorities and recommendations. However, if you have neither, but you do have that zeal, the fire, you need to understand that only excitement will not make you a successful planner or entrepreneur. What you can definitely do, which a lot of my students have done, is take up a full-time career. Like what we have at the wedding school is a specialized entrepreneur course. On earlier occasions as well, we have had students. One student, in fact, had somebody in the family who was into the wedding space, not exactly planning, but in the wedding space. And we were the ones who really helped in professionally training her and actually making her a full-time planner. So a specialized course that we offer is basically like an 8-month extensive training where you will actually major in one of the topics. You can pick hospitality, decor, or experiential designing space. And we actually teach you the end-to-end further in detail. The basics, of course, will be taught to you in the first 6 months. We handhold you through a first project. And Shreya, if I'm getting your name right, this is exactly for people such as you who may not have the backing at home to be able to take it forward, but you are really the one who will need a bit of hand-holding. So when you get your first project, if it's not within the first 8 months, if it happens at the end of the year or a year and a half, we are still there with you in that journey. We handhold you through that project, and we then guide you step by step in order to make sure that that bride and groom is not taking like a chance of their lifetime. They have professional support in the form of the wedding school who's backing you as not being the front face, of course, but your back end sort of consulting, bouncing off idea kind of space. So you can very much do it. But train yourself. Don't let zeal and excitement and money that your family has be the only reason you're doing this. Make sure it is backed by formal education. So you must definitely look into that. Okay, Raj is thanking me. Dream Career is also thanking me, and I have a lot of my friends who are joining in. So big hello. कहाँ से सीख सकते हैं? ऑनलाइन कंटेंट भी है, बट अच्छा कौन सा है? अब यही पर मैं कह रही हूँ, आप अपना नजरिया बदलिए, आप उस पे भी स्टडी कीजिए. सिर्फ डायरेक्ट स्टडी से किसी का भला नहीं होता. क्या पढ़ना है, कहाँ से पढ़ना है, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा लंबा जर्नी रहता है. और आप जितने कोर्सेज के बारे में जानकारी पाएंगे, उतना ही आपका नॉलेज भी बढ़ता जाएगा, and you will automatically be able to gauge that which way and which kind of a course you really want to do. So कहीं पर आप अगर डेकोर का कर रहे हैं तो आपको उस तरीके के ट्यूटोरियल्स साइन अप करने चाहिए. अगर आप प्लानिंग स्पेस में है तो आपको वैसा करना चाहिए. सो प्लीज वर्क अ लिटिल and join me next Friday and tell me कि आपने कौन-कौन से courses के बारे में find out किया है, and I'll be happy to guide you. In fact, everyone joining us here can also learn from you and me, but I don't want to give it to you easily. आप थोड़ी मेहनत कीजिए. Okay, Shreya has written, I'm already pursuing my MBA in entrepreneurship. Very lovely, and would be joining one of your courses for further guidance. God bless you, and I'm hoping to see you tomorrow. As you know, we have a select members only counseling session, so I'm hoping to meet you there and interact with you. Okay, I think I want to hopefully I have done good enough to help you understand whether or not you have the aptitude to become a part of this industry and eventually become a wedding planner by running your own firm, or just an independent wedding planner who's working with a company. And I'm hoping that you're going to put to good use whatever little bit I've been able to share in the last 40 minutes. It's Friday evening. I'm not going to hold you back. And I am definitely going to be available anytime. So you can DM me, you can write into the wedding school, and I'll be happy to answer the questions from last week as well. I have been in touch with some of you, and I'll be happy to connect again. And I'm going to see you next Friday, of course. And for some of you who are joining me in tomorrow on Zoom, I'm going to be seeing you there. Of course, that is a second and third level of discussion with those who are already looking at pursuing their career start with the wedding school. And have a great weekend. Spend time with family, something I don't do, but you must do. And really enjoy the space of weddings. It's an amazing career to pursue, guys. I just want to tell you, Acha waqt, bura waqt is just a phase. What you get in the wedding industry is a career that can last you until eternity. Even if you get married, even if you switch from one city to the other, even if you have to pop up a baby, you can still be relevant in the industry, provided you're ready to give in your heart and soul, and of course, a lot of time. So thank you so much for joining in. And if you want to know more about the counseling, you will have to get in touch with the wedding school page on Instagram, and you can write in on this page itself, and we will be happy to discuss it further. And thank you for everyone on Facebook as well. Love you loads, and see you soon.